Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of our podcast, Still Not Famous Back to the Future Pop Culture from Our Childhood. He is Nathan, and he makes a mean cup of tea.
Hi, Josh. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever we are in the day.
Indeed. So, in today's episode, we're going to basically talk about what pop culture was like for us growing up, essentially what we loved, what we didn't like, and basically how it shaped us in modern day and age, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, do you have anything further to add?
No, I'm looking forward to getting stuck into it. But yeah, how was your day today?
It was very long. It was busy, so it went quick, but at the same time, there were a few moments where I was like, was it not 5?
Last night, I slept all night. So
Good, you came prepared.
I came prepared. I came, alive. Alive. He's alive.
Indeed.
I might not look it though, but that's a different.
Well, I didn't want to say, but if you're going to call it out,
I
it's
was
going to be
born
hard. It's going to be hard for me to disagree.
I was born with this face, Josh.
The sad part is there's like a 15-year age gap between us, but like with the bags under my eyes, where you could kind of probably almost pass for the same age. Me being older, not you being younger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't. I just realised that there was no flattery for me there. Thank you.
So let's dive in. So, what was pop culture like for us? Now, I feel like we should probably do this chronologically, and as we've just established, you are the older of the two.
Oh, okay.
Would you do me the honours in leading this discussion?
Yeah. Pop culture. I mean, I think we touched on this last episode, didn't we? And I mean, yeah. I mean, I can remember like a time before blockbusters, or I'm trying to think the other one at the big time. Again, probably like the early 80s to mid 80s. Again, before blockbusters and things like that, you'd have all these small little independent rental video stores, or sometimes it'd be in like the newsagent. They'll have a a stand with rentals on, and I used to love it. I used to love going. I'd go out with my dad, and he'd probably go to like the working men's club, and he'd just go, here you go, here's a $5 or whatever, go off to the video store. So I would, but I remember back then. This was funny because there was. It sounds funny now thinking of it, but back then there used to be this guy that would turn up at our door, and he'd have a folder with a list of films, and you'd rent them out the back of the boot of his car. And I go, yeah. I remember getting Return of the Jedi. So I don't know when it was, 83, 84. I was like, yeah, I'll have that, and rented it out. So, so that was really weird. I mean, probably thinking about it back, and probably pirated. I don't know, but I mean, the copies were good. So, but probably like a pre-Netflix, but just out the boot of a car.
A more bootleg version, shall we say?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was, again, like I said, videos, VHS, films. Films really shaped me because, again, we didn't have Sky. Some friends would have Sky, and you get all these other channels. I still had the 4 channels at the time. Well, actually 3, and then I remember Channel 4 starting, and then eventually Channel 5. But so very rare you get all the old movies, and they'd be like the westerns and the war movies and movies from the 40s and 50s and 60s and whatever. But I loved all them. I used to watch them all, and I'd sit and watch them with like my granddad, but I'd sit and watch them on my own. And to this day, I still watch them. I just think they're brilliant. A different era, isn't it? But I think for me that really shaped it for me, because again, you didn't have, even if you went to the cinema, you'd go to the cinema, you'd watch a film, if you didn't watch a film or you missed it while it was at the cinema, you would probably have to wait 12 months before it even came out for rental.
Wow, that's so wild to think when you consider these days it's probably a month or two.
Yeah.
And then it's on a streaming service.
Yeah. I'll never forget it. I remember 1989, Batman, Tim Burton, came out of the cinema, and because I loved it and such a geek, we got some that was it. The films would come out so they come out about 6 months later in America, and then 12 months in the UK.
Yeah.
So I had some American relatives. They sent over a copy of Batman, and but we had to get it transferred because it's different.
Yes, it's to do with I think it's like the region settings or something.
Settings,
yeah,
that's it. So I had to get somebody who we knew to kind of transfer it and bugger about with it, but it was a pretty decent copy actually. But yeah, like I say, 12 months you'd wait for that film to come out, and like you say, now it's pretty much instant, isn't it? By the time especially if the film's successful, it has a long run at the cinema, then it's straight out, isn't it? So
essentially, yeah.
But yeah. What about you?
So, what it was like for me, it was very much like the bridge between two gaps. Now, it's kind of like, so just to make listeners aware, I am unfortunately in my 30s. I'm 34. I was born in 1991. You were 15, by the way, when I was born.
Yeah.
Just to make you feel old.
Just, yeah.
And essentially, I was at the bridge of, so you'd have videos and videotapes, but then it moved away from VHS to stuff like DVDs. And then it moved from DVDs to Blu-ray, and then nowadays everything is just on streaming. Internet, it was kind of starting to become a thing, and then when it was a thing, you'd have to have dial-up, and then when broadband came out, it was obviously seen as groundbreaking. Now, I didn't actually have the internet until I was 14 because essentially, not that we were poor, but I guess that just at the time it wasn't a necessity. But also I think it was a case of there was very much that fear, which I don't feel like is around these days, or at least not to an extent. Maybe I'm biased because it's my generation. There's also the fear of, you don't want to go on the internet because you don't know who you're talking to, what you're going to see. There's always that kind of big fear as well. So I think my parents were kind of a bit, not anti it, but also not a massive fan of it either.
No.
So, and then also going from, the very basic early mobile phones, so a Nokia 3210, for example, that have Snake on it, to then the rise of smartphones and the iPhone, Blackberries. So I feel like through my 34 years on this planet, it's been very much going from one thing to another, and there being kind of big tech advances. That's kind of what I think a lot of when I grew up. It's kind of very pre-social media, but now in a very social media heavy kind of world. So with a lot of things, I can remember what they were like before what they were like now.
Yeah. I mean, you ever watched the Goldbergs?
Yes, I used to love the Goldbergs. I used to watch it on E4 all the time. Yeah.
To me, that's just, it's almost like my life, I was just thinking, I used to have I don't know, my old man got a big JVC camcorder, and you'd actually put the full VHS size tape in it, and we would make movies around the garden and around the house, just like in the Goldbergs, but and just going on what you're saying now, with technology, people, I mean, what's it, 28 years later, it's just been filmed on an iPhone, isn't it? Know, and it's crazy, but I'm just going, thinking of them cameras back then. It was.
I remember back when, basically I'd have a TV that would go out to channels 1 to 4, 5 if you were lucky.
Yeah.
And then when my mum got us a Freeview box, it was the best thing ever because there were things like music channels. I used to watch one, it was channel 18, it was called The Hit, because I wasn't I know of some modern music, but not really. Well, modern at the time, like past now. If we went into a pub and they were playing retro music, it'd be music from my childhood. But and that kind of like birthed my love for music, and then the internet birthed my love for so many other facets that I didn't necessarily have access to. I mean, the internet, like we all kind of take for granted what it is now, but it is essentially a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
Like at your disposal.
Did you ever used to watch MTV?
So I was a bit too poor to afford a channel that had MTV. Like, again, not on like the breadline or anything, but couldn't afford like the Disney Channel or anything either. Like, so no, I knew of MTV, and obviously I know of its cultural impact. I mean, very recently it shut down.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
rest in
RIP,
peace.
yeah.
I mean, MTV was definitely a helped shape me. I think just again, I think it'd been around for a few years before I'd sort of started watching it and getting it. I mean, again, for me, it was probably late 80s, early 90s. So I was, I don't know, 12, 13, whatever, in the early 90s. But your Michael Jacksons and Madonna, ruling MTV. But then, of course, I started getting into like playing in bands, like I talked about on the last episode, and Nirvana. They come along, and not just them. All the bands, like from where they were from and that era, just spoke volumes to me. And I did, but like the fashion as well. I mean, looking back, they still look cool when you look at old photos of them. But I mean, I've recently read interviews and where they were like, it wasn't really a fashion, it was a necessity, because a lot of them lived in quite a cold, I think Seattle's quite cold, and they were poor, so they would just buy second-hand hand-me-downs or whatever from, thrift stores or whatever they call them, but to us, they just look cool and still do, but it was like an image, and I think even in last year that there was, I mean, not that I'm into the whole fashion scene, but I think there was a whole kind of grunge look. But again, I think MTV back in the 80s and definitely in the early 90s, phenomenal. And then of course it all went reality, didn't it? TV, everything was reality TV, and I think up until recently with MTV, there hasn't been any music on there for years, so
no, exactly.
Being a music TV station.
Yeah, agreed. For something, music is the very first word in the TV channel name, and I think back when I last watched it, I think if you saw a hint of music, you were lucky.
Yeah. Spot the music.
But it's all those different things that essentially kind of help shape your taste, your interest. It's being exposed to all of those things. Yeah. I suppose my exposure, a lot more digital, technical than your exposure, essentially.
Well, again, I go back to the music. The good thing with MTV, they were music videos. And so not only did you get like a killer tune, you would 9 out of 10 times get a killer visual video that accompanied it. Yeah, you don't see. I mean, I think people are still making videos now, but I mean, you probably can answer this more, but with TikTok, I suppose your video clips they're only going to be so long, aren't they? And I think people's attention span is quite short, isn't it? And it's like whereas again, when you add MTV and you'd video after video, you would, even if you didn't like it, you'd sit and watch it for the video, or I mean, I've got a music video or a couple of music videos, and my friends laugh because they say they prefer it with the sound down. So video's good, music's good.
One of the very first things we talked about when we first met, remember we used to take our lunch breaks together where we used to work, and you actually said, oh, like, you know, are you on Facebook? And if so, I'll send you the link to my music video. And it's the one where I forget the name of the song, I'm afraid. I do remember it though. I remember the visual, the one where in the thumbnail you're like sat in front of a grave.
Yeah, it's called Rotten Apple. We went and filmed that in Matlock in Derbyshire, but it was a homage. Well, it wasn't a homage. It kind of was a homage. We said it was, but we used a lot of the filming locations from Dead Man's Shoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was really fun. We just shot it. My good friend offered to shoot it for us, and yeah, it was fun. Just going around all the locations from the film, you know, and but we, you know, it's got a weird story. It's actually quite a good video, but again, maybe the song just turn the volume down.
No, I was impressed. To kind of keep the topic on music and music videos, I'll touch upon music videos first. So I do feel like these days music videos, it's not an event like it used to be.
No.
Like I can imagine back from your time when, like, say, like for instance, like when the Thriller video by Michael Jackson came out, I can imagine that was like an event.
Yeah.
And like it's still in kind of impressive and holds up now. For more, my one would be, so I was in my towards the end of my school life, the last couple of years of sixth form. Mine would be, the last time I watched music videos, which were like an event, would be when Lady Gaga was first on the scene. And I remember there was a countdown somewhere where it was the release to her song Telephone with Beyonce. And I remember like people from school being like, oh, I'm going to stay up till midnight like to watch it and whatnot. And that felt like a proper event, like when she released like Bad Romance or when she released like Alejandro. The build up to her music video and her visuals were always big events. I think the last one I can remember was probably when she released the song Judas. I'm not sure if you know that Lady Gaga song.
Yeah.
And there was a big kind of lead up to that as well. And I feel like with music videos these days, there's just, again, maybe just because I'm getting on in my ways, I always said I'd never be one of those people where I'm like, oh, what's this? I don't understand this. And then I was sat at our workplace and someone went, oh, like, to another colleague, oh, do you know what, like, have you seen this, this, and this? And literally I sat there and I was like, that may as well have all been in Mandarin because I did not understand one word of it. And I had this moment where I was like, oh no, it's happened.
Yeah.
At least from what I see from different kind of social medias or from what people tell me, I feel like music videos are not that big of an event anymore. I mean, obviously it's nice to have a music video, but it's not like a countdown and like it's a big thing where it's like, I must see this music video the moment it's released.
Well, like you said, going back to the Thriller, because that was, who was the director? It was who did American Werewolf in.
We need to get better at this because it's our second one now where we both know the person we're referring to and we're both blanking on the name.
Yeah, we're not going to win any movie quizzes here, are we? But,
No.
But anyway, but a lot of the big Hollywood directors would start off on music videos. David Fincher, for one, I think he cut his teeth, you know.
Yeah.
Starting out with music videos, and then of course gone on to do loads. So
yeah, I mean, not too much of a shabby resume, put it that way.
No,
yeah.
But I think, like you say, I think that there's not a need for music videos anymore. I mean, they do. I come across them on YouTube and things like that, but I think a lot of bands don't need to because you haven't got the MTV, you haven't got the music television shows, so I think they kind of tend to. I mean, like I say, I see a lot of new, freshy, young bands making music, and I think it's cool that they do, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily sure they're needed, if you know what I mean, because again, sort of the culture we live in now, watching music shows, you know, you might, you might sort of traipse through YouTube or Instagrams or whatever, you know, or looking for new, fresh music artists.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know.
Speaking of music videos, and we will move on to something else in a second, but I sat there with my husband Dan and we put on like a playlist on YouTube. Like what I normally tend to do is I'll pick like a year and it'll be like 2004 in UK music or 2005 like UK chart hits and whatnot. And he'll sit there and watch the music videos and he'll be like, I'd love to be a music video director because seriously, like, what the hell is going on in these music videos?
Yeah.
Like, some of them are just so, like, wild and make no sense or have no relevance to the song whatsoever. And it's like, but it's great because, like, it's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. And, yeah, like I say, I mean, I had my little experience with making my one with my friend, and it was one of the definitely treasured memory. You know, the whole experience. Shot it over a whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we were in this big house and shooting scenes in there, but we were sleeping in there. It was empty. Nobody was living in there. We hadn't broken in. It was somebody had let us have the keys, but it was just fun. It was, you know, and then we would sit up drinking and film again, which added to one of the scenes because it looks like I'm having a moment, but in reality, I think we'd drunk a lot of rum.
I'll leave it to the listener's imagination as to what the moment is.
Yeah.
Speaking fondly of things, so we kind of touched on it a little bit, but what would you say your likes or loves were from your pop culture growing up? Obviously, you've touched upon things like cinema, so obviously we can touch upon that as some of your loves. But are there any other loves that you think to yourself, when I look back at my childhood, so young child to early to late teens, maybe even mid-20s, is there anything you look back on we've not covered that you're like quite fond of?
Pop culture wise, I mean, I loved the the wrestling, the Hulk Hogan's and yeah, the real 80s spandex, shouting.
Do you know what? Looking back, like, I never watched wrestling.
Really?
Sorry to interject.
Wow,
that.
okay.
But, like, looking back, it's right up my alley. It's, like, dramatic. There are men in skimpy outfits. Why was I not into this? Like, yeah.
You'll have to go back and watch it.
But sorry, many apologies. Carry on.
No, it's... yeah, you're right. It's definitely like a drama because, I mean, there was always a big thing of it, you know, it's fake or... And I mean, these guys are pretty athletic, and the girls nowadays. But you know, it was predetermined, and I think that they physically put their bodies through quite a lot. So I think they used to get quite offended when people say it's fake. But I can understand why people would say it's fake. But
yeah,
it's the outcome's predetermined. You know, it's not like the UFC or a boxing fight. But no, I loved it. It had the music, it had the villains and the heroes again. Everything you needed in a drama and you know, big extravaganza. So, but that kind of got I kind of got out of it in as the 90s kicked in, started getting a bit rubbish. And then over the years, I've kind of gone back into it. And when I had my kids, I'd watch it with them, and then I've gone out. And every now and then I go back. And we used to work with a guy who was a wrestler, didn't we? Mo.
Yes. Oh gosh.
Prince Amin.
Yes.
Shout out to Prince Amin.
Prince Amin.
We love to get you on here,
and we hope you're doing well.
Yeah, maybe we can get you on. And
you're not dead to us yet.
No. You will be if you don't come on this show in the future.
Do you know what? For a second, I completely forgot. And when you're like, we worked with the wrestler, I was racking through my brains. Like, did we? Like, trying to rack through all the people we work with. But no, like, yeah, 100%.
Prince Amin, yeah. Apparently, he's unless he's already started, he's doing a podcast, a wrestling one. So, maybe we can collab, Prince Amin.
Prince Amin, if you want someone on your podcast who knows zero things about wrestling, but you could ultimately maybe take the mick out of, I will clear up my diary.
We're in.
No, you might be in. He might just be like, no, Josh, you're not qualified enough. Like, stay away.
Yeah.
Cool. I suppose looking back at mine and my likes, so mine would be very towards... touched upon it in our last intro podcast, but more towards stuff like young adult fantasy. So to have things like Harry Potter, that was very much like I was there from the conception of it to the final film airing and the final book coming out. Very big into gaming, and weirdly, I can tie it into something that's happening this week. So I'm a big Pokemon fan, and I very much got into like my gaming with Pokemon then. Funnily enough, literally tomorrow, the very first games that came out, it was red and blue in the UK, but it was red and green in Japan. They did remasters of them, and they're actually re-releasing the remasters of them on the Switch tomorrow. So very timely, that one.
Wow.
Yeah. I think what was nice for me was I had a very nice blend of I was able to enjoy the stuff that my parents enjoyed that came before me. Like shout out to my mum and dad, Graham and Sue. Not to be biased, but they are the best parents out there. So shout out on that front. I could enjoy a lot of the stuff that they enjoyed, as well as enjoying a lot of new things that came along. And what I mean by that is like a lot of my parents' music tastes like rubbed off on me. So my dad, he used to have this big old Range Rover, and he used to have like a CD changer. You could fit 6 CDs in it, which was like mind blowing at the time. And he used to listen to a lot of things like REM, Alanis Morissette, like Robert Plant and whatnot. And my mum would listen to a lot of the same, but sometimes some things different as well. My mum loved a bit of like Jethro Tull. Nice. She likes Joy Division as well. She didn't mind a bit of Jeff Buckley, The Levelers. Like there's way more I could reel you off the top of my head, but I don't want to go on for like 9 years. So I could enjoy a lot of their things. And what is lovely about my parents is they are very much if you want to enjoy something I enjoy, like come on board. Like I literally want you to be all in. I remember when U2 came up with the song Vertigo, and Sometimes You Can't Make It On Your Own, which was early 2000s. And I said to my mum, like, I really like this U2 song and whatnot. And my mum had a little DVD of U2 music videos, and she put it into the DVD player, and she was like, she really wanted me to get into it. And I didn't realise it at the time, and I was just like, I'm not really a fan of these. I just like that one song. And looking back, I feel really guilty because she was trying to get me in on something she really liked, and I was like, nah, I'm good, Mum, I'm really sorry. I'll be definitely well up for it now though. And not just when it comes to music, but when it comes to films as well. So like around my parents' era growing up, there was a lot of like groundbreaking films. Like again, I lean more towards like the sci-fi or like horror things, so stuff like Predator or stuff like Aliens or stuff like Star Wars, stuff like Terminator, basically anything James Cameron related, barring a couple. And then, but I'd also have in my timeline, you'd have up until the early 2010s, the highest grossing film, which was Titanic. That was like a big blockbuster. And there's something about when you have blockbusters when you're a child which make them all the more magical. Now, my favourite film ever is Jurassic Park, and honestly, watching that for the first time and seeing those dinosaurs, like, mind blown. And do you know what? It still holds up today, to be honest. And there was just something kind of like magical about those kind of blockbusters back in the day, and also kind of like, although I'd listened to a lot of modern music, also starting to kind of lean on my parents' very kind of varied tastes in those different things as well. So that's kind of rubbed off on me too. You mentioned earlier that you used to watch a lot of like Westerns back in the day. My dad still watches things like The Outlaw Josie Wales and High Plains Drifter. He will go out of his way on a Saturday afternoon to find the oldest Western he can find on his Virgin box and watch it.
I watched last night, I watched Tombstone, Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer.
Oh, what a pair.
I haven't watched it since it came out. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. Good movie.
Nice.
Wire up. Yeah. But sorry, I cut in.
No. Finish what you were saying.
No, I was going to say, I think for me, again, it's talking about the old movies. So the ones that really gripped me as a kid were the Ray Harryhausen's, and I think that led me into all them other films where you could tell there's special effects, you know.
Yeah.
And then you later find out that all these people worship Ray Harryhausen. and because of that, evolution of everything, like The Abyss. That was one of the first sort of films to then step it up and use computer, but with that stop motion type of element, isn't it? And of course, there's a lot of stop motion still now made to this day. But I love Ray Harry. I think he's awesome. My wife Lou took me to an exhibition in Edinburgh about 2 years ago now, and it was all his models of his stop motion models from Clash of the Titans and all these other films, and some of them had kind of worn away, which you'd probably expect after 70 odd years or whatever, 60 years. But no, it's cool. I think if I could turn back the clock and get involved in film making, it definitely would be. I'd like to go towards the stop motion thing. I think it's, I know over the years, again, because of the digital, but it seems to be coming back in, doesn't it?
I think from what I've learned, from when I've put notes together on these first couple of episodes, things are definitely kind of cyclical.
Yeah.
Like something will be in vogue and then it's not, and then it will kind of almost be looked at as like, oh, this is like vintage or retro, and then it will come back again. Yeah.
Well, I think that's it, isn't it? Because with anything now, computers can just do all the work, AI, but there's something, I don't know, beautiful when somebody's creating something with their own hands.
Yeah.
Than telling a computer what it wants.
Yeah. No, I think that's very well said.
I know. Yeah.
So we have been very nostalgia driven and maybe rose tinted glasses in a few places. I think what we need to do is move on to, okay, well, what necessarily were you not a fan of in pop culture spaces growing up? I'm going to let you take the lead on this one, because I think any millennial will know instantly mine are going to be very depressing. And so, yeah.
I honestly can't say, I can't say that I have any. Nothing that, I don't know. Like I say, I think for me, growing up was brilliant, and I can't, I've got no dislikes. I definitely think, I've got my kids now, and I talk to my kids who, youngest is 16 and 18, and then I've got a 25-year-old, but I talk to them and I'm like, I just wouldn't want to be, I'd struggle, I think, being a youngster in this modern day, because everybody's just put on a pedestal and they have to be this or feel they have to be this,
Yeah.
I grew up in a time where it was just like, I don't know, Bruce Willis is, blowing up, jumping down the buildings, or Indiana Jones, and you could just be who you wanted to be, and it didn't. There was, I'm not saying there weren't some rubbish that come along with, but nothing to what it is now. And unfortunately, like how mental health is now. Again, back in my day, there probably was a few people with mental health issues, but I think now we all of us have some struggles, mental health struggles, some more extreme than others. But yeah, so I suppose, like, selfishly, I'm going to say, no, I've got nothing from my childhood era that I can comment on. I'm not saying it's the same for everyone, but
I was going to say my answer's going to be very different.
Yeah, let's bring it down, Josh. Now, bring it down.
Okay, so mine are all going to be world events. Now, it feels like from my childhood, being a millennial, it's just been, I think from a certain age, it's been one thing after another. The first thing I can kind of cast my mind back to was when I was in junior school, and unfortunately it was Princess Diana's death. Obviously, I didn't really know too much about Princess Diana at the time, but I remember that kind of being like the first big kind of shocking thing I read on TV. And then also that then leads into 9/11 happening. Now, do you want to hear how judgmental are you? How judgmental are you feeling?
Just go on. Yeah, I'm easy. Go.
Okay, listeners, please go easy on me. So my memory of 9/11 is, so I came home from school and I was in year 5 at the time. And I remember coming home and being really annoyed because of 9/11 happened and it wasn't regularly scheduled TV programs. And I remember being really annoyed I couldn't watch CITV. Which is awful because people died. And I'm just sat there, someone who is not even 12. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so gutted I can't watch like Zap or Bernard's Watch.
It was just the news.
So, and then from then you had like the 7/7 bombings and then also the 2008 financial crash. I feel like it's led, being a millennial, it's just been one thing after another. And I kind of wish I'd lived, maybe not for like the homophobia and racism, but I kind of wish I'd lived in like my parents' era where, like, you know, things were more affordable. Don't get me wrong, not to say that era didn't have its struggles, but I feel like, I mean, I've been through, just in my 34 years on this planet, I think about 5 once in a lifetime financial crashes. And it's just like, will us millennials ever get a break? It doesn't really feel like it. It's just, it's just one thing after another. So I can't have and sit here and share the same experience with you because unfortunately it's just been a very different kind of time period. I do look back at a lot of these things fondly, but it is tainted by some of those other world events growing up, unfortunately.
I mean, I remember the first recession, like you say, that did. But again, I can't think of any sort of events, like you say. I mean, I don't know if this is the right time to probably offer our condolences to the royal family for Prince Andrew that's going to die next week in the car crash. But
well, it's not even Prince Andrew anymore, is it? It's just Andrew.
The artist formerly known as.
Do you know what?
The Prince.
I'd love to say I'm not normally a petty person, but I know I can be. Like, I am very self-aware in all of my faults. Did I get a bit of joy seeing him in that photo in the car? Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. I loved it because I was like, finally, like, I think that's it. I think a lot of millennial mindset is kind of slowly going from optimistic to negative because I've seen a lot of people get away with a lot of things. I mean, one of them being the President of the United States. So it was kind of nice to see that bit of fear in his eyes. Like, it's, again, I'm a petty person, and yeah, like, do I like watching the downfall of other people who deserve it? Yeah, I do, to be honest.
It's just it, isn't it? But yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a very big shift in public perception of the royals over the next couple of years.
Yeah. But I think, you know, with all this, what's going on at the moment, I think our podcast is going to change the world. So I think if everybody just straps in tight, joins us, continues on our journey with us, then good things will happen to all of yous.
So it's either going to be the light in the dark, like a lighthouse on a stormy evening, or people are going to listen to it and be like, do you know what? Like, if they can do it and they're that bad, then I can stop having imposter syndrome and just do it myself.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So do you have any kind of closing comments on this topic? Like anything you may have missed you want to circle back round to?
No, I don't know. I'm just thinking of... actually, I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but it's going back to like the childhood thing. So I was a big Transformers fan, but not this modern day.
Not like the Michael Bay one.
Not the Michael Bay. No, I'm talking about the animation back in the early days. And what was it, 83, 4? Used to love it. Used to get up every Saturday morning, watch the shows, bought the toys, you know, and you know, the Japanese created robots that turned into whatever vehicles. Or me and my friend, I don't know. Did you ever have one? Did you ever see them? The toys I'm on about.
I never had a Transformers toy to my knowledge, but obviously knew what they were. Yeah.
Well, you get your Transformer, you get it in this box, and on the back it'd have really cool artwork of in a big battle scene, but it would have their stats at the bottom. I don't know, strengths, weaknesses, firepower, all this, blah, blah, blah. And you get a little red infrared thing you put over. It sounds cooler than probably was. But me and my friend, we were such geeks with the Transformers. We actually sat down one weekend. I think we were only about 12 or 13, probably younger. And we created our own ones. And we called them the animal bots.
Aww.
And I think one was a rabbit, one was something, I don't know, something else. I can't think what they were now. But we did them 3. We packaged it and sent it off to Hasbro that made Transformers.
Oh, okay.
And I think Hasbro did like Care Bears, and they were quite a big toy firm, weren't they? But they were really cool. I don't know, probably a couple of months later, they sent back a box of all these. Do you remember you used to get like mini Transformers?
Yeah.
They'd sent back like a dozen or so of them in a box. It's like America, with like a letter, covering letter, and it was basically saying, "Thanks for this. We really appreciate it. You're obviously very talented, humouring us, but you know these are not something we'll be using at the moment. But here's a load of Transformers for your effort."
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah. I just think it was, that was a fun memory of being a toy maker. But it's like being on the Dragon's Den, but not getting the money from Hasbro.
Peter Jones, Duncan Bannatyne, Theo for Peters, and Deborah Meaden
and He-Man
would be saying, "I'm out."
And He-Man, I know He-Man was Mattel.
Oh, that was a really sweet story.
Yeah. But I did. Yeah, so I thought I'd just end with that anyway.
I don't think I really have any others, to be honest. Like, I'm still a Pokemon fan to this day. Like, I'll have undying loyalty. Still like listening to my music, probably not as into more modern music as I used to be, but I will always look back. I mean, again, nostalgia goggles. I'll go on Spotify and I'll put something in like 2010s music or something. And like they call a lot of it like recession pop, because obviously it was music just after the big 2008 financial crash. And do you know what? Like, when it's a weekend, like when you're at the gym or when you're out for a walk, a bit of recession pop, it's lovely, banging.
Yeah, nice.
So I think that pretty much wraps us up on this episode. Yeah. So we will be back. Our next episode is Who Do You Love and Who's Loving You? We're going to talk about dating from Nathan's childhood, dating from my childhood. Well, say childhood, actually late teens. And then seeing how that also factors into modern day culture, maybe the pop culture as well. And then I think we will wrap that one up with maybe some dating horror stories.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's not a question of, do I have bad dating horror stories? It's a question of what's safe to like talk about on this podcast. No, my mum's probably going to listen to it.
Yeah, might have to air that one after 9 o'clock. Looks like.
So we are going to be back. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. If you do, give us a like, a thumbs up, whatever you want to call it. We are available. We have a page on Facebook, Still Not Famous. We also have an Instagram, Still Not Famous Pod. We also have a TikTok, Still Not Famous Pod as well. So you can reach out to us on any of those. Drop us some feedback and let us know if you like it or not. Although when I say we're open to feedback, myself personally, I'm only open to positive criticism. I'm not sure about you, Nathan.
Well, let's say hey, you just throw anything at me. But yeah, you can ask if you have any questions you want to ask. So.
Yes, or any suggestions for future episodes, we will take that all on board. And yes, we will be back with you very shortly. And whatever time of day you're listening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And we'll speak to you soon.
See you soon. Bye.